That previous clip where I had removed the neck on this D-18 Martin, this is the jig that I used to do that. This is about the third or fourth generation of this neck removal jig. And I want to take a minute and explain to you how it was designed, why it was designed the way it's designed, and how it works. So this high density rubber backs up the back of the guitar across the head block. And this rubber fastener compresses and puts the upward pressure on the tip of the heel. And this relief cut allows just enough room for that dovetail to pop up, and it leaves space for the fingerboard. This cut on the top allows you access to get the steam needle in there, or a lot of people are using that hot wire. So whatever you're using, it doesn't matter one way or the other. The jig's function is the same. Like the bridge slotting jig I designed, it's the universality of this jig that makes it attractive. You literally take this thing out of the box, put it on the guitar, and you're ready to go. I've done 3 neck resets this past week, a vintage Gibson, a Kalamazoo, and this 1967 Martin D-18. So I just wanted to kind of point that out before I move on. So the threaded rods are long enough to accommodate the vast majority of guitars you're going to come across. So the other thing I wanted to mention is one of the problems when you're using steam is you often get blushing on the top of the guitar from the steam. Well, these foam pads actually seal the top. Let me bring you over to this Martin and I'll show you. So that neck came off without any blushing whatsoever. Okay, so enough about that jig. I want to back up for a second and explain what we're doing with this neck reset. So everybody knows when you remove the neck, you basically buy back the real estate of all that years of string pull, and you set the neck back this way slightly. But the challenge is, and this neck was reset 20 years ago, and this neck to body junction was never corrected. The reason you need that correction is because when you tilt the neck back, you end up with a high spot or a hump at this neck to body junction at the 14th fret. I've clipped the top end of the fingerboard extension down tight to the soundboard, because the correction happens from about the 3rd fret back from the top one, right past the neck joint, up to about the 9th fret. So most of the correction is done here. Now when I put that straight edge on here, there's no rocking, there's no hump. So I'll continue with the rest of the job now. Now that I've got that neck exactly where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and put my pilot frets in, the 3rd fret in this case, and the 11th fret. So now we got the 3rd and the 11th fret in, we slide up to the bridge, and that gives us the perfect neck angle. Now when we hop up onto that saddle, we have beautiful action, just enough string clearance. So that part of the job is done. We'll now put the frets in the fingerboard extension. And that is the finished compensated saddle for the 12 to 53 strings. You can see how much all of the focal points had to move forward. When you tilt the neck back, you pull the nut further away from that original slot in the bridge. So everything had to come forward. This low E is pretty well right at the leading edge of the original slot. The A, the D, the G are all past the confines of that original slot. The B is pretty well dead center or even a little bit forward in the original slot, and the high E is way past. The last time the neck was set, as I mentioned earlier, the fingerboard correction was not done and the intonation just wasn't right. These are the values on the compensated nut. Let's have a listen. The simple elegance of the mahogany D-18 Martin. No fancy inlay. It's all there. You're pounding out of rhythm. depending on where you strum it, directly over the sound hole. Or closer to the bridge. Or over the fingerboard. 3 different sounds. These are John Pierce strings. I used these strings many years ago. So 12 to 53 is what the customer's been using for years. So we went with that exact string to set up and calibrate this guitar.